welcome back to the Goofy Fella Show, everyone's favorite podcast. It is me, your host, Jake. Before we get started, so I don't forget, because I will forget, and I'll wait till the end when no one's listening anymore, and then it won't happen. Make sure to like and subscribe, because everyone likes it. You know you like it. You know you enjoy this content. Go ahead and like it. Subscribe, and we're going to comment, and I will let you know later what the comment is about, so make sure to stick around for that. Comment's going to be a good one this time, I promise. It's just me today, just me and Jake. We've had, I think this is episode 10. This is episode 10. The past nine episodes, we've had many guests on here. Can I get a round of applause for the guests? What is that deafening silence I hear? The guests have been shit. Let me be honest. Let me be purely honest with you, the listeners. The guests have been bad. Not a single good one that I can think of. Just boring stories. I've had to sit through meaningless conversation. Just the most abhorrent things I've ever heard uttered from another person's mouth. It's been miserable having these other people taint the good reputation that I've put here on this podcast, on my carbon footprint, I like to think of it as. So today it will just be me, Jake, and I don't have any topics, but I'm going to go off the fly. We'll have an intermission. I haven't planned what the intermission's going to be. That'll be later in the editing process. So, first thing I would like to talk about is my absence. No one cares. This is a big thing, like when I watch YouTube videos and I'll go to research something and I'll come up on a new person's channel and I'll watch it and they'll be like, yo guys, sorry I've been gone for the past week. My grandma, she was in the hospital, and then my sister had transgender surgery, so I had to go to that. No one cares. Please continue on to the content. But it has been a month, and I've had pretty regular weekly uploads, which is how I want it to be. But I got the fake COVID China virus, and it kind of put me down. And then I got back to work. I was getting back into the swing of things, and I was like, oh man, it's been a month since I've done a podcast. It really wasn't anything holding me back. Now, the week and a half I had COVID, I did not feel like doing anything. I barely played video games, so that's pretty serious if your boy's not gaming over you. But I'm back. I'm going to try and go back to weekly uploads, but I'm not going to promise that to you. And if I don't do weekly uploads, you're just going to have to get over it. It's not a big deal. You have other things to occupy your time. If you're upset about the lack of time that is occupied by my podcast, you really need to reevaluate your life and figure out what's important to you, because this should not be one of them. Unless you're debating on whether or not you should subscribe, then this is probably the most important thing you have going on. Your life is meaningless. Your day-to-day job you're doing doesn't mean anything. You get a paycheck off of it, but it's not as much as you could be making somewhere else. So just go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you feel like donating money, we'll figure that out. Let me know. Just leave a comment like, hey, how do I give you my yearly salary? And we'll figure out something. I've got PayPal. Not a big deal. McDonald's. I've got a couple things to talk about in the McDonald's spectrum. I don't know how I feel about McDonald's. Their food is viewed. See, there's a big thing with like the top dogs and being shit on. So if you're the best at something, you're gonna get shit on because people are jealous and they don't like people succeeding. Most people don't like success. So when they see someone else succeeding, but they're failing in their own lives, they're upset about it. So that's why a lot of people shit on McDonald's. I like McDonald's. I'm a big fan of fast food in general. So we'll take a little sidetrack real quick because I haven't planned anything for the podcast. So I'm trying to fill time. Top 3 fast food chains. The word fast food kind of is a lenient term. I don't count Five Guys as fast food, but I may be a little biased. I worked there. Fast food, I feel like that's more drive-through. You have to have a drive-through if you're fast food, in my opinion. Five Guys didn't have a drive-through. The one I worked at didn't. If you guys want to know about my Five Guys experiences, leave a comment about that. Leave a comment, ask me any Five Guys question. I worked there for almost 2 years, so I have quite a bit of experience in the Five Guys realm. I think for you to classify as a fast food chain, you must have a drive-through, and you must have what's the place? Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's has a very small menu. I think they have a drive-through as well, but they have a very small menu. It's like you either get the I've never been there. I don't live in an area where we have a Raising Cane's, but for those who don't know, it's like a chicken. It's almost like a Zaxby's, except they only have like 4 items on the menu. So I don't classify that as fast food either because the menu is small. I don't know why having a big menu is part of the requirement for me, but it is. Having a big selection and having a drive-through, I classify you as a fast food chain. So I'm going to go ahead and rank my top 3 fast food chains for you real quick, because everyone cares about my opinion. Number 1, my go-to fast food chain is probably Taco Bell. The reason I'll put Taco Bell up there is because the selection you have, I find that to be bigger than most places. They're always coming out with new items on the menu I can try. They were the ones that kept the dollar menu the longest. McDonald's doesn't have a dollar menu anymore, and Taco Bell doesn't have a dollar menu anymore, but they used to recently. And there was a lot of items on there. You get quesadillas, spicy potato soft tacos, which is my favorite, bean burritos. There was about 8 or 10 items you could get on the Taco Bell dollar menu that I enjoyed. They were all good. Taco Bell just... I could go eat Taco Bell every day, I think. Number 2 would probably have to be Arby's. Now, that may be a hot take for some of you, but Arby's it's kind of the same reason with Taco Bell. It has a huge option. You know, I have a lot of options when I go to Arby's. And a lot of people know them just for their beef and cheddars, which are very good. I like the beef and cheddar. Some people aren't roast beef people. That's fine. If you don't like roast beef, probably don't go to Arby's. But you can go to Arby's. They have plenty of other stuff. They have gyros. The gyros are delicious. The Greek gyro, I really like. They also have like seasonal burgers. Any type of meat you want. If you want turkey, if you want ham, some kind of ham sandwich, they have, what's the one? A French dip. They have a French dip, which is okay. But I think where Arby's really shines is their sides. So the jalapeno poppers are really good. The mozzarella sticks are really good. Their onion rings are very good. Arby's sides are top quality. Taco Bell doesn't really have sides. I guess they have nachos, which are low-quality chips with low-quality cheese, but they are what they are. It's nachos. cinnamon twists, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but they're okay. Arby's has desserts as well. That's my 1 and 2. If I were to do number 3, I'd probably go with... It's between Burger King and McDonald's. And I'm going to put Burger King in the number 3 slot. And the reason for that is the exact same reason I put the other 2 in there, is because it's a big menu. If I go to Burger King... McDonald's has a big menu as well, but most of it's burgers. So you're looking at Big Mac, you're looking at Quarter Pounder, you're looking at Double Quarter Pounder, which is a burger. McChickens, they do have chicken. And then they have the Southern style chicken sandwich, which is okay. Chicken nuggets. You're looking at beef or chicken. Burger King always has new stuff. So even though it's also burgers, because it's called Burger King, they're mainly going to have burgers. They're always coming out with a new type of burger. So a while back, Burger King had, I think it was called the Spice King, and it was a spicy Whopper, basically. And it had a red bun. Very cool. So the red bun caught me immediately. I was like, that's different. It was a burger with some kind of spicy sauce on it, jalapenos that were breaded. It was like breaded jalapenos. And that was a delicious burger. I liked it. They had the A1 burger, which was the black bun burger that Burger King did. I liked that. Burger King's desserts are pretty cool too. They have the pies. You can get a Hershey's pie. You can get a Reese's pie. McDonald's also has that, but I'm going to put Burger King in the number 3 slot. Number 4 slot's probably going to be McDonald's. Checkers is good as well. I enjoy Checkers or Rallies for my West Coast fellows. I've had In-N-Out. Let's bring In-N-Out into the conversation. In-N-Out was good. It was a good burger. But it's kind of in the same territory as the Raising Cane's, where it's like a limited menu. They're not coming out with new shit. You get what you get when you go to a In-N-Out. You can do animal style, like that's the fanciest thing they have, which is Thousand Island dressing and cheese and something else, but it doesn't stick out to me. Culver's... who cares? Who cares about fast food? I'm done talking about fast food. The reason I wanted to talk about McDonald's is because they have currently, so we are in the month of October in the year 2022. For my future viewers, any viewers in the future, leave a comment. Be like, oh, sure, it's 2024. What are you talking about that for? And I'll comment and say, who cares? I'll comment that. McDonald's currently is doing something. They teamed up with... McDonald's is doing something where they team up with different people and they come out with a menu item for them. So Travis Scott had a burger. Megan Thee Stallion had something, I believe. They did something with BTS, the Korean pop group. But currently they're doing something with a clothing brand called Cactus. I don't want to get this wrong. Cactus Plant. I might get this wrong. I'll look it up. Because I keep saying Cactus Plant Thrift Shop, but I don't believe that's it. Cactus Plant Flea Market. Cactus Plant Flea Market is a clothing brand. And McDonald's has teamed up with them for some reason. And I thought this was super cool. They've created an adult Happy Meal. For those of you that don't know, a Happy Meal is a box that children get. It comes with a few food items and a beverage and a toy. So what McDonald's has done is they made an adult version of that, where it is a box that comes with food items, adult food items, a Big Mac, or a 10-piece chicken nugget. And it comes with a toy. And the toy is designed in the style of cactus plant flea markets design that they do. And really their design is just a poorly drawn character with 4 eyes. So what they've done is they've taken the classic McDonald's characters, Hamburglar, Birdie, and the purple guy. McDonald's characters. One second. I want to get his name right. Birdie, Hamburglar, and purple guy. What's your name? Grimace. They took those 3, Birdie, the early bird, Hamburglar, Grimace, and then the 4th one. There are 4 toy items you can get. I have 2 of them, but the 4 you can get are the Hamburglar, Birdie, Grimace, and then the 4th one is cactus plants character that they have. Their, what's it called when you have a fucking mascot? Their mascot, which is just a smiley face with 4 eyes, and he's wearing a bunch of McDonald's merch. So those are the 4 toys you can get out of this box. I've gone twice. I got Grimace and Birdie. So I have Hamburglar and the cactus plant character to get. And I'm trying to go for 4 for 4. If I can go there 4 times and get all 4, you guys will hear about it. I promise. I'll keep you updated on that. But I like the box. I've gone 2 days in a row for lunch. I feel like I'm going to die. Like today, I just felt like shit. Yesterday I had a Big Mac. Today I had the 10-piece chicken nugget. And just my body is not thanking me for that. Today I heard that Grimace has a whole backstory. And I may do the Wikipedia on Grimace. I'm going to look that up. But Wiki. There's the whole backstory on Grimace. Like, he has a family. There's some kind of king. Grimace, McDonald's, Wiki. But I'm not interested in Grimace right now. There was another McDonald's fact I wanted to share. Apparently, if you dress up as Ronald McDonald and you go into a McDonald's, they just let you do whatever you want. So you can go back there, run the drive-thru, you can make the burgers, you can run the cashier thing, you can sexually harass the customers and the employees, you can defecate in the fryer. They don't care. As long as you're dressed up as Ronald McDonald, the world is your oyster in a McDonald's. I was unaware of that loophole. It's like a hack, a life hack. If you dress up as Ronald McDonald, you can sexually harass the employees. And I thought that was pretty cool. So if you guys are ever in the mood, you just put on a nose and a striped outfit, run into a McDonald's, they can't stop you. The elites don't want you to know this. But if you were dressed up as Ronald McDonald, you can get away with murder inside a McDonald's. You can murder all the customers, employees. Once there was a room filled with 20 people, and then it's just you in a blood-soaked clown outfit, and it's okay. I've heard. I'm not throwing out this fact. Before you do any heinous acts, make sure you go look this up. But what I've heard is that's okay. I feel like I had another McDonald's fact. Maybe not. McDonald's is kind of hit or miss. It depends which McDonald's you go to. Sometimes you go to one where the employees just don't give a shit, and they'll just give you the lowest quality food ever. Same thing with any fast food, though. I guess that's kind of dependent on... the only thing I can go off of is my personal experience, and I worked in Five Guys, like I said earlier. And that Five Guys, we put out really good food, but the only reason we did that was because the employees gave a shit. Like, I really wanted to put out good burgers, and the people I worked with also wanted to do that. If you work somewhere where people are getting paid $10 an hour and they just do not care, you're not going to get good food. And I don't think you should base the entire company off of that one location. You should try out other locations. Ooh, something good about Taco Bell. I have a theory. So I went to 2 separate Taco Bell locations. One of the locations was shut down. They had it blocked off. You couldn't go there. They were doing some kind of work inside, and they had 2 pods. If you know what a pod is, it's a little shipping container that you can put stuff in, and then they haul it away. 2 pods in the parking lot. And then they had a United Rentals pickup truck. They were doing work in there. They had to shut down. The same day, if not the next day, I went to another Taco Bell location. They were open still. However, the 2 pods were sitting in the parking lot, which means they're probably going to shut down soon and start renovations. My theory is, like I said, this is October of 2022. The big thing right now is throwbacks. It's nostalgia. And I think Taco Bell is going to try and grab onto that and ride it. And so they did that with the Mexican pizza. Mexican pizza used to be a huge item menu at Taco Bell. They brought it back, sold out immediately. I don't care what Taco Bell location you go to. When you pull up to the drive-thru, they will have a sign that says, Mexican pizzas are sold out. You guys ate them all. You fat bastards. No one has Mexican pizzas. And so that was a throwback thing. It was a test. What Taco Bell is going to do is they're going to renovate every single one of their stores back to the retro Taco Bell theme, where it was crazy colors and I don't even know how to explain it. Just like 90s vibes. Do you remember the Chihuahua? They used to have their mascot was a Chihuahua. And he said something like, "Hey gringo, come get Taco Bell." Ding. That was the Chihuahua's thing. He was like, "Come get some of our quesadillas, Holmes." And you watch. Taco Bell's going back to retro Taco Bell. And you heard it first here on the Goofy Fella Show. With that, what we're going to do is go ahead and take a intermission so I can go get another beverage, which I probably don't need. And I'm going to put something in here. I was thinking about maybe doing a song recommendation. It's either going to be a song recommendation or it's going to be a YouTube channel recommendation, because I feel if I do a song recommendation, I'm going to get copyright striked, but I'm not making money anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. But I've been listening to some good music lately that I think maybe you guys will also enjoy. So either way, the intermission video and or song will be some kind of recommendation I have for you. So what the comment request is going to be for the day is going to be song or YouTube video recommendations that you have for me. So this is going to be a sharing. You guys ever do show and tell in elementary school, where you brought something in, everyone brought something in, and they shared it with each other, and it was a, hey, here's this thing I like. You should also like it, or you don't. It's my recommendation. We're going to do that. We're going to do a little show and tell. So I'm going to show you something I like. Maybe you like it as well, and you share something with me. And we will be back shortly. Welcome back from intermission. Very fun intermission. I totally have an idea of what it was. I know what it is. I know what intermission was. I run the show. How can I not know? Hope you guys enjoyed it. Whatever it was, I don't know. Think about it. Think about whatever it was. Hold on. I don't give a shit. I thought we'd spend the last half of the show, maybe the last quarter of the show, I don't know how long it's going to last, thinking about things. Sorry, I'm a little burpy. I have a few facts for you guys, which I think I've spoken about on the podcast already. But they're facts that I found the most compelling. Not compelling, because that's trying to convince me of something. When I learned these truths, they affected me to the core, and they made me think differently about the world. And maybe I'll dive into some more than the ones that I have. The one that I know I've dove into is the overpopulation issue. So, rhetoric that's pushed pretty heavily is that we have too many people on the planet and we're overpopulating it, which is a complete lie. And it's a lie that's told to control people and to control populations, and it can be very easily disproven, and there's arguments to it, and I'll dive into that in a second. But the argument I have is the entire world's population can fit inside of Texas. And this is something I've ranted about many times to loved ones and people who spend any amount of time with me. And they're probably tired of hearing it, and that's probably the majority of my listeners. But I'm gonna bring it up again. So skip ahead 5 or 10 minutes and see if I'm not talking about it anymore. Or listen. Maybe there's new information. The landmass of Texas is about 262,000 square miles. And so when you convert that into feet, that comes out to about 5,280 feet per mile. So that means that if you put every single human, which is about 7 trillion, is that correct? 7 billion. Well, I don't want to be wrong here, because this is like my main topic. How many humans are there? 7.98 billion people. So that's about 8 billion people. Let's say 8. I'm going to be generous. That would come out to about 1,200 square miles per capita, which means per person. So a family of 5, if you were to put that family of 5 inside Texas, they would have 6,000 square feet to themselves. And I don't know if you guys have lived in a domicile. I don't know if you've lived in a house. Any house livers? One person to 1,000 square feet is a lot. You got some stretching room. You can stretch the old legs and arms out. There's no problem in 1,000 square feet. So if we can all fit inside one state, inside one country, in one continent, it's hard to convince me of an overpopulation issue. So the argument to that, which I'm sure you're thinking and many people do think and they bring to me, is it's not an issue with land mass, it's an issue with natural resources. That many people couldn't live off the amount of natural resources that are in Texas, and that's fair. I get that. Let's stretch that out to every single person living inside the United States of America. So I don't have the figure on that, and I could figure it out. And if you guys would be interested in that, let me know, and I'll do that. I'll do that math. I'm sure someone's done it, and I'll probably just read their stats, but I could do it. I have a calculator. I'm not opposed to that. I think it's narrow-minded to think, and this also dives into global warming and pollution, and whether or not we as this animal species we have the ability to affect a planet. But the main consensus is we do, and we have. I think we don't have the ability to measure the amount of natural resources we have based off of our current technology. So if you go back, the current year is 2022. Let's go back to 1900, which is 120 years. We felt as though if women were to go on a train, their blood would boil because the train would go too fast. And the trains at that time traveled at probably 35, 40 miles an hour. And if women traveled at that speed, their blood would boil and they would die. That was only 100 years ago. 50 years ago, the 80s, we thought that, AIDS was a real thing, but now we know that AIDS is fake. So, going off of what scientists feel and scientists say, I can't hold what they say to too much merit. So the natural resources we have the ability to excavate from the earth. I think we'll be all right, especially as technology develops and we're able to go deeper and find more natural resources. And we'll find, this underground lake, and it's like, oh, we have trillions and trillions more gallons of fresh water than we thought we did. We just weren't able to get to this aquifer, or whatever they're called. What's it called when there's a underground lake, underground river? Those aquifers, or were aquifers the bridge systems they use to move water? I don't know. I'm not going to look that up. I'm going to try and do as little fact checking as I can. I feel like I've done too much fact checking as it is. That's interesting, I feel. Most people don't know that you could fit every single human inside Texas, and that's alarming. Most people think that we're using up every single bit of land we have on this planet to fit all these humans in here, and it's like, oh, we need to lower the population because we're filling up all this land. No, we're not. We have plenty of land. We just consolidate ourselves into these same areas. And do I understand why? Yes, of course I do. That's where the jobs are. That's where the money is. That's where we've made these cities in the optimal areas where the most resources are, where rivers are. You look at cities, you see there's water sources there. It's easier to make the infrastructure that it takes to create a city in these areas. I get that, but you are able to live in these rural areas that 50% of the population live in. People just don't want to live there because it's harder to make a living. So That's my argument against overpopulation. And I'm not going to dive too deep into my argument for pollution and global warming, because that's a loaded conversation. Let's go into a little bit lighter of a conversation. Did you know there's a variation of Superman called the Milkman? And he's the most powerful variation of Superman there is. He's called the Milkman Man, actually. And he's canon. He's part of Prime Earth. And he is far more powerful than Superman, is what I've heard. However, the Milkman Man, which is an evil being, he was raised by two mothers. Now, I don't want to get into whether or not gay mothers creates you to be evil. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying there's two Supermans. One Superman was raised by two mothers. He's evil. The other one is raised by a mother and a father. He's good. You create your own assumption from that. The Milkman Man, it says here that he can lift 100,000 tons or more. That's a lot of tons. However, I looked up how much Superman can lift, and it's 2 billion tons. So I don't know where this person came to the conclusion that the Milkman Man's more powerful than Superman. That kind of seems like bullshit to me. While we're on the topic of millions and billions, which we've spoken about in the Texas argument and the Superman argument, there's this really cool thing I learned years ago, which was someone turned millions and billions and trillions, which a lot of people don't understand the difference between those numbers. 1 million, 1 billion, and 1 trillion. We kind of they sound a lot alike, and I understand that. Million, billion, trillion. They sound similar. Let's turn that into seconds. So this is a really good way to explain the difference between the three numbers. I'm going to take a sip real quick. If you were to take 1 million seconds, that comes out to 12 days. So if you were to count 1 million seconds, you would come out to 12 days, which is 24 times 12. I don't know if that's right, though. 1 million seconds is 12 days. No, that's big wrong. It'd be 24 times 60 times 60, I believe. 60 seconds. There's 60 minutes. And then 24. Yeah. 60 minutes in an hour. 24 hours in a day. 12 days. Yep. So that's 1 million. 1 billion seconds. So the next step up is 31 years. So 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. That's quite a jump between these two words that sound very similar. Let's do a trillion real quick. So we figured out that if you take 1 million seconds, that comes out to 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. 1 trillion seconds comes out to 31,688 years. So that's the drastic leap between these three numbers. 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion. And that goes into when you start talking about people's money. Like Elon Musk has a certain trillion amounts of dollars. And then you compare him to a billionaire. It's like, well, billionaires and trillionaires are similar. No. Having $1 billion and having $1 trillion are very, very different. A trillion seconds equals 31,688 years, when a billion seconds only equals 31 years. That's So if you didn't have an idea of the difference between those numbers, hopefully that helped. I don't think I'm articulating it correct, but that just may be my current mindset. Another fact. So those are a few. The Superman thing I don't care about. It was just something I looked up first. It's my first tab I have here. The millions, billions, trillions, that really changed my mindset on numbers and monetary value. And you hear those numbers and they're kind of like fake to you, but that helped put that in my mindset. The Texas thing, that kind of helped me put my views on overpopulation and our effect we have on the planet into a different view. Another thing is the vastness of our planet that we currently live on. And maybe I'll put some pictures in here, to help you better understand that. And this will be one of those points. Have you guys ever heard of Nemo's Point? So Nemo's Point is there's coordinates for it, and it's a certain point on our planet. If you turn the globe to where Nemo's Point is in the very center of the globe, you see nothing but water. You can see a little bit of Africa, you can see a little bit of Antarctica, but that's about it. It's mainly water. And people don't understand how big our ocean is. That's why I bring this up, and it helped me put into perspective how big the ocean is. So there's a statistic that says we've only discovered like 5% of our oceans, which if you factor in declassified military maps, it makes it a little bit more. But Nemo's Point, if you were to get dropped at Nemo's Point, which is a point in the ocean, to where if you turn the globe that way, you can't see land. The closest human you are to. So if I get dropped there and it's like, I want to go to the closest human to me. Do I swim left? Do I swim right, forward, backwards, east, west, south, north? No, you swim up. So the closest human you are to is in the International Space Station, which is a satellite we have, which rotates our Earth in space. The ocean is massive, and the thought that we are able to pollute this force, this natural force, is a bit egotistical. And it's another argument I have for our population. It's an argument I have for pollution, whether we have the ability to pollute this ginormous. I'll put the picture in. You can look at it. I mean, we're just itty bitty microscopic beings to this planet. Planet doesn't care about us. This really put my mind at ease almost. It's like, oh, we don't matter. Our existence doesn't matter to this planet. It's not being affected by us. It's not sick because of us. We just think that we used to think that Earth was the center of the universe. And that just shows where we're at currently. So back then it was like, yeah, we're the center of the universe. Of course we are. We have life. We're the most important thing there is. And we're still at that point. You may look back and be like, oh, I can't believe people thought we were the middle of the universe. Well, later on, they're going to look back and think, I can't believe people thought that we could affect this planet any. Nemo's Point really helped me. This may be the picture for the entire podcast, but maybe not. I'm for sure going to put it up at some point. Another interesting thing, I don't know if you guys have looked into past civilizations and there's this guy, and we talked about him on the podcast, I believe episode 8, where it was me and Charlie and David, and we spoke about this guy. He's a scientist, he's an archaeologist, and he discovers old civilizations before we thought that civilizations existed. And there's this guy, Francisco de Orellana. He was a Spaniard. He was one of them Spaniards, conquistadors, if you will. And in the year of 1542 through 1543, he went and explored the Amazon River. He wrote in his journals and his discovery papers that there were cities bigger than any cities that existed at that time, all on the Amazon River. Just flourishing nations. He visited with them, and he came back, and then I forget how many years. It was 100 years later. 100 years later, they went and explored the same area of the Amazon River and found nothing, just jungle. And so they were like, well, this guy Francisco was a liar. He went there and he just lied in his discoveries and said he found something. But now we're starting to explore the Amazon. We're starting to deforest certain areas, and we're finding remnants of civilizations and remnants of cities and remnants of temples. And so we believe that, I say we believe, but these archaeologists are believing that Francisco was correct. And what happened was, and this is the interesting part, that when he and his fellow Spaniards visited this area, they brought with them the smallpox and other diseases that the Amazonians were not accustomed to and they hadn't built up an immunity to, and they all died. And so within this 100-year period of the two explorers visiting, all of the Amazonians were wiped out, and their cities were overgrown and forgotten. And so when the other ones went there, they saw just jungle, but the jungle had reclaimed its original area and overtaken these city areas. So that was really cool. And it brings you into, and if you're interested, maybe go listen to the other podcast. I believe episode 8, possibly episode 7. You'll have to look into it. It's not Animal Expert. I forget what I named that episode. If you give me 1 second, I can look. This isn't fact-checking, by the way. I'm just going to my channel, looking up information. Maybe The Truth? Maybe Gay Pop-Tart. Is that the name of the episode? Play. Hold tight. Mainly. Do you think that's the main thing that people do? Like they hire private investors? You said it's insurance, right? Insurance for. We were playing a video game during this one. I apologize for the pause. I'm trying to listen. Speaking to a big group of people, because probably the majority of them. I don't think it's Gay Pop-Tart. It is The Truth, episode 7. So if you go back and listen to episode 7, you will learn more about ancient civilizations. You won't learn much, though, because that episode, it wasn't a teaching episode. It was more of an antagonizing episode to my friends who don't believe what I believe. Other truths I have. That's a world population clock. Let me close that. I think that's all I got for you guys. Any questions on any of this stuff, I'll be more than willing to dive more into it in another episode. I'll make a full episode about any questions you have. If you have a debate with me about, I feel as though us as humans are polluting the earth, I'll be very glad to go into my entire thought process and my factual knowledge about the topic. And then if you want to, you can come on the podcast. Anyone who wants to come on the podcast, let me know in the comments. Be like, hey, I would like to debate you about this, and we'll figure it out. Whether it's in person, whether it's on Discord, I'll do Skype. We'll figure it out. We'll get you on, and we will debate this. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. It went better than I thought. I believe this is coming up on an hour episode. By myself, as everyone wanted. Not much comedy here, though. Next episode, I will try and be funnier. This was more of just, I'm throwing one out there. I wasn't in a real funny mood, but giving the people what they want, and they want an episode. You guys have a very good rest of your week and or weekend, depending on when you're listening. And make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next episode.